You just heard Iran's top diplomat charge. The president's national security advisor is working with key leaders in the Middle East to bring about regime change in Iran. And joining us now to respond, John Bolton. Ambassador, as you just heard, Foreign Minister Zarif says you're part of the B team, a small group of leaders, you in the U.S., others in the Middle East, Bibi Netanyahu, bin Salman, bin Zayed, who are working to try to steer President Trump into a conflict with Iran. Your response?
Well, he also said in another interview he wished he were working with the A-team. You know, in the past few days, the North Koreans have also called me dim-sighted. The Cubans have said I'm a pathological liar. I'd say I've had a pretty good week.
And your response to his allegation, though, that you and some Middle East leaders are trying to foment a conflict between the U.S. and Iran?
You know, it's completely ridiculous. I think what that interview showed was a carefully prepared propaganda script by the Iranians. This is their effort to try and sow disinformation in the American body politic. The fact is, the president's policy on Iran has been clear well before I arrived in the administration. It is to put maximum pressure on the regime to get it to change its behavior. And I think it's working, and I think that's what they're worried about.
Well, Zarif is right about one thing. In 2017, as he said, you did give a speech to MEK, an opposition group, which at one point, not now, but at one point was listed as a terrorist group, in which you talked about regime change in Iran and celebrating in Tehran with MEK in 2019, this year, which is the, 40th year anniversary of the overthrow of the Islamic Revolution, which raises the question. Do you really, I know when Pompeo is asked this, Secretary of State Pompeo, he always says, well, no, we really want behavior change. Do you think this regime is capable of behavior change?
Well, I think we'll have to see. Let me just say on the MEK, you know who took the MEK off the U.S. list of foreign terrorist organizations? Hillary Clinton, that well-known right-wing Republican. Look, the fact is that the Iranian regime continues to oppress its own people. It continues to be the world's largest financier of international terrorism. It continues to pursue ballistic missiles, the only real purpose of which is to deliver nuclear weapons when they get that capability. There's no doubt this regime is a threat in the region and globally, and that's why we think the pressure campaign has had a significant impact on their ability to carry these tasks out. If they want to get together and speak with the president, he said almost exactly a year ago when French President Emmanuel Macron came to Washington and he told Macron we were going to get out of the Iran nuclear deal, that he wanted to see a negotiation over all of these things, the nuclear program, the ballistic missile program, the support for terrorism, and Iran's other malign behavior. When they're ready to talk, the president would be ready to talk.
I understand all of that, but honestly, don't you want to see regime change? Isn't that the only way to get an Iran that isn't a threat to the neighborhood? You've just laid out a real bill of particulars why it's such a bad actor in the region.
Yeah. Well, look, the people of Iran, I think, deserve a better government. There's absolutely no doubt about it. The trouble is, it's not just a theological dictatorship. It's a military dictatorship, too. That's a very difficult circumstance. We'll see what happens as the economic pressure continues to grow.